Hi. So again, without any script, I want to talk about this. Just woke up actually. It's in the middle of the night, and I dreamed of being drunk. And this time, I even went as far as getting criticized by my friends and family, and apologizing for it in my dream. Not only did I get drunk, my brain, what I'm trying to say is my brain felt like being drunk. But also, I experienced, I had this social experiences. You see what I'm saying? Because usually, it's been 4.5 years since I quit drinking. And I've, sometimes I have these dreams where I feel drunk. Like I don't really remember the story of my dream, but next morning, in the morning I wake up, I feel like I just almost similar to being hangover or hungover. And I realize my brain still remembers being drunk. And this one was different because, you know, I apologized in my dream. And my closest friends and my father is also the closest one ever in my life. And because of this, I turned on my video and I felt like I need to talk about this. Addiction is something I'm thinking about a lot, like because I'm not gonna lie, quitting drinking is like one of the hardest and that yet the best things I ever done in my life, right? And then the way I see it is, it's not just about drinking or quitting drinking, but it's more about addiction because usually, and this happened to me too. When you quit something addictive, you will move on to something else that's addictive. Like for example, I found a new addiction in working out, exercising, and I have some other addictions too. That are not as necessarily bad as drinking, but still have addiction. And I really like to be free from those addictions. Probably, I have a feeling it's gonna be my lifetime's mission because I really want to be free. You know, I want to be a free person, and in order to be free, you need to not be addicted to anything. Because when you're addicted to something, that means you rely on something that's not yourself to control your emotion. Thing is, these days it's almost impossible to live without any form of addiction because this is the kind of era we live in. I mean, this is true worldwidely. In my country, in South Korea, we say this. It is nearly impossible without to live without any addiction because it is nearly impossible to be sane, to be sober, to be sane-minded because that's just how the reality is. But however, nevertheless, for me, I've lived my life for what? I'm soon to be 46, so almost 46 years. Nothing matters, man. Nothing matters. Even even the people, actually the people are the root cause of drinking problem. Did you know this? The patient himself, most of the time, is not the problem. It is those people that surround him that need a therapy because they have this psychological way of making you feel guilty and does fall into this vicious cycle of, you know, looking for alcohol to, resolve this internal conflict. And after you wake up in the morning and you start feeling guilty, and you tell yourself, I'll never do this again, but then you do it again. I'm not gonna go too deeply into this because I'm not an expert. I'm just someone who has this experience as a probably patient. But if you think about it, if you do research about it, the best way to quit drinking, well, probably true for other forms of addiction, is not yourself, but the people around you. I'm not saying you should blame this problem or your problem on other people, but I'm just saying that's what it is. I'm not saying I'm not attacking anyone here, right? I'm not that. This is just the way it is. This is just what it is. That's all I'm saying, right? You also can be a cause for someone else's addiction, right? Let me put it this way, right? I think it makes better sense if I say this. Yeah, so what I did was I stayed away from everyone, including my family, for a year when I quit drinking. And I quit drinking coffee too. Coffee drinking was big addiction too. It is different than saying, oh, I became an alcoholic because of this person, that person. It is just a fact. Take it as a fact, right? Right? Like no one's really being, no one's that's people are people usually. People are always they have problems. They're not perfect, but you need a new environment. You need to move yourself to a new environment. It means physically a new environment or some other ways too, or in every way, if that's possible. So even those people that the cheering crowd is sometimes can be part of those crowd that kind of make you fall into this kind of trap. Again, it's not their problem. They don't know what they're doing, but you just kind of have to be reborn. But anyway, uh, this is something else I've got to say. What is addiction? You can be addicted to working out. You can be addicted to working, studying even. You can be addicted to. Usually we think of like gambling or caffeine addiction or nicotine addiction. But if you think a little more deeply into this subject, addiction is something that we need in order to escape from our state of mind. Anxiety, for example, or feeling stable, feeling worrisome, or worried about your life that you cannot control, or loneliness. I really think that people have addiction problem because they cannot forgive themselves. And in order to forget about things that make them feel guilty or bad about themselves, they resort to these things. Because when you cannot forgive yourself, you're not going to have a good relationship with yourself. I mean, inside of you, there's more than just one character. Or I call it a child. There are many children inside of you. There's a children who is probably well behaved. There's children who is kind of bald or loud maybe. There's children. They might even be a bully kind of. There's children that's honest. There's children that wants to lie, ambitious, greedy, all sorts of children inside of us. And Most people prefer some children over others. They don't accept all of them equally. They pay more attention to some children and they ignore other children. They love some children and they they hate other children. But for me, being free from addiction is like embracing all of them. Like I said in the beginning, the way I see it, quitting drinking is more than quitting drinking. Because, like I said, even if you quit drinking, you're going to move on to something else, man. So what are you gonna do for the rest of your life? Just moving on, like moving around like this from one addiction to another. I'm not gonna lie, I quit drinking substantially because I was too scared. It wasn't my strong willpower. I still miss it. I mean, I don't have this strong urge anymore, but I miss it. I miss I can, sometimes I wish I can just have like one, very cold beer. I'm not going crazy. I don't have this crazy craving. I don't feel like, I don't feel very unstable, or I don't feel this crazy deficiency, deprived, because I'm not having this. I don't drink. I don't have those like side effects or strong effects, symptoms anymore. But I do still miss it. Not gonna lie. And it's been more than 4 years, 4.5 years, right? And supposedly my body, it has run, it must be out of my system now, the system of my body. But even so, my brain still remembers it. So for me, drinking, it's not about drinking. It's about addiction. If you just are too focused on quitting drinking, you're going to miss the big picture. And you'll end up having another problem of addiction. And to free yourself from these addictions, you need a healthy relationship with yourself, with everyone, all the children inside you. And usually it's forgiving. It's forgiveness that helps you have this great relationship with yourself.